And finally, I just need to move this over a little bit. Okay, the pedals, this is where everything happens. It's quite dull in here. I don't know if you can see, but this is the pedal board, so I'll go through them one by one. First off, I have my Boss tuner. Nothing special there. Kinda lights up nice. That goes into a custom built pedal called Beelzebub. Now what we have here is on the right we have the fuzz, which is a classic FY2 fuzz. One of the best fuzzes I think you'll ever hear in your entire life, in my opinion, and James's opinion. James, the James man. And then on the other side we have an orange scrambler. Basically what that does is just completely fuck your sound up, and if you put it at the right volume you can run other gains, other overdrive pedals, and it just creates an amazing musical sound. Beelzebub was used on the Banging on the Drums solo, and I've also used it on a new song called Carnage for the main riff. Brilliant stuff. Then I have my Union Jack Vox. I can't remember the model, hold on a second. There you go, V847. I love these wah-wah pedals. I love it because it has a lot of choke on it, and it's, you really have to travel the pedal to get the wah off it. I almost went into colloquial Scots there. I'm trying my best, but it's a nice wah-wah pedal. I love them. Some people don't. I think they're amazing. That goes into a garage tone drivetrain. Now the great thing about the garage tone pedals is that they're cheap as chips. You will pick up a garage tone pedal for about £60, and it's really boutique sounding. It's like a boutique sound that you get off it. You would expect to pay 2 or 3 times that price at least. So I love this pedal. This forms the basis of my main sound. I don't set the drive or anything that high. It's just a nice break-up sound. It's almost clean. It's lovely. And that goes into a Maxon OD 808, which in my opinion is the best overdrive pedal ever made. I think it's the greatest sounding. It's almost like a tube screamer. Some of you will know the Ibanez tube screamers, but this is the greatest pedal for overdrive. It's not distortion, you don't get much off it, but it's an incredible sound off it. And when you run the garage tone drivetrain and the Maxon OD 808 together, it's fantastic. Into another garage tone pedal. This one's called the Chainsaw. It's a distortion pedal. Again, I never run the drive too high on it. It just gives a bite to the sound, which is fantastic. And then that runs all the way along this purple cable into, I think, one of the best pedals of all time, the Electro Harmonix Worm. On this you have auto wah, phase, tremolo and vibrato, and it's just lush. It's a fantastic sound. This is a more modern version of it, which is a bit quieter, there's less noise, and I think, in my opinion, when you kick it on, it doesn't take as much low end out of your sound. Then we go into another garage tone pedal, the Axle Grease, which is it's actually a digital delay, but strangely enough, it sounds very, very analog. This delay would not be my main delay. I use it for a very, very short slapback, just to thicken the sound slightly. Then I go into, which I think is one of the greatest delay pedals ever made, the MXR Carbon Copy. This is just the most lush sounding analog delay I've ever heard. Right up there with a Electro Harmonix Memory Man, but this, for me, there's just something about this pedal that's incredible. And then this pedal hardly ever gets plugged in. It's a digital delay, which I hate. I only like analog delays, but this one's got a repeat thing on it. It's got a loop thing where I can play a riff and then kick that pedal on and it holds the riff and then I can play over it, which is cool when you're the only guitarist in a 3-piece and you're singing. And then once all this is finished, I go into a pedal here at the end, the silver one called a Super Hard-On. And if you don't know what a Super Hard-On is, then I've got some websites that I can direct you to, but basically what a Super Hard-On does is just make your sound super hard. You know, it's like a clean boost. Some people put it at the start, right at the very, very, very beginning. They put it here, and what it will do then is just kind of boost your sound slightly and give you a lovely, you know, top end. For me, I don't like that. It's just a bit too much for the Oswald sound. So I stick it at the end, and I can kick it on, and whatever sound I'm using, for instance, if I'm using these two pedals, if I kick the super hard on, if I kick that on, it boosts my sound without colouring the sound, without changing it. Or if I've got this one on and that, you know, you get the picture. Fantastic pedal, super hard on. This one's a custom built super hard on. It's not as a Zvex. I actually prefer this to the Zvex anyway. However, I am tempted to get another super hard on and stick it on the front. But there you go, that's the pedal board.